Okay, I think it's back on. I'll find out tomorrow.
Hey guys, give it up. Come
on. I wrote a brand new song just for this evening. It's called Poison. When I ran for mayor in 2005, McAllen City Hall voted to turn up cameras while I was addressing the people. They said it was legal. I say it's illegal. It's been a year, so I'm still fighting censorship in McAllen City Hall. McAllen City Hall, censor-free speech, it's been over a year. It's been over a year since McAllen City Hall shredded the Constitution on television. Well, the White House, well, the White House struck the deal with the city leaders in the White House. Yeah, the White House met with the city leaders. Yeah, the White House met at the river with the city leaders and the city leaders and the city leaders and the city leaders. Well, the city leaders endorse a right-wing Republican, and the city leaders Democrat endorse a right-wing Republican governor for re-election, and the White House indicated censorship by meeting with the McAllen City leader, White House, the 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 White House, White House. It was a photo op selling out the city leaders, Democrats sold out the city leaders, FUK, Big Perry, up the act, right-wing Republicans wanna be the White House and the city leaders. The city leaders, that's the president at the river and the whore with the master. He wanted more, he wanted more. That's the White House wanted cheerleaders to all was black and was big shady. shotgun. He killed the integrity of the Dallas City leader. Democrat dignity, Democrat dignity, shredded like the Constitution. Shredded the Constitution. Democrats indoors, manhandled like a free speech, a McAllen City Hall. Democrats indoors, right-wing Republican, Rick Perry at the river, up the river, at 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 the river, up the river, at the river, the river. Take your poison, take your poison, take your poison. What's your poison? Take your poison, take your poison. What's your poison? I heard your poison is the bitches and the dopers, but the junkies and the rebels. Take your poison, take your poison, take your poison. Baby, I ain't got the wheels, but I got a brand new engine. I ain't got the wheels, but I got a brand new engine. Take your poison, take your poison, take your poison, take your poison. I ain't got the wheels, but I have a brand new engine. Take your poison, take your poison, take your poison. It's at the stop with the mayor shredding the competition. What's your poison? What's your poison? What's your poison? What's your poison? Oh well, the mad canister, city lawyers, never stop, beauty writer, for the money, the super mayor, and the big shady thing. Why don't you come hunting with me anyway? We'll go hunting and shoot up all the days. What's your poison? What's your poison? Taking out the brakes and he rearranges things. Taking his mistakes and he rearranges things. He got the bling bling. Got the bling bling. Got the bling bling. That's just the glow from my wheels. He got the bling bling. He melts it down and makes a bling bling. From the chrome off my wheels, from the chrome off my wheels. Bling bling. Bling bling. Take your poison. I ain't got the wheels, but I got a brand new engine. Take your poison. Take your poison. I ain't got the wheels, but I got a brand new engine. Take your poison. I'll take your poison. And take my baby to me. I can't take my baby to me. I can't go road riding. 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 One last song for take a break. It's an Elvis song. Yeah.
Wherever there is an Oscar maker, there will be an investment. You are some awesome friend.
Mr. Narro.
I'm going to be very controversial here when I say that my ambition as mayor is to find ways to take the Dodge Arena. No disrespect to those who believe in a convention center. But in my opinion, the young people of today at McAllen are in their 20s, late teens, they're coming of age. Convention center, no disrespect, is for older people. But we need the Dodge Arena. We need to take possession of that land. And I know that's controversial, but that's going to be my ambition, to incorporate that prime real estate that will really benefit McAllen. Because what is Hidalgo compared to what McAllen is?
Sorry, Mr. Narro. Now, Ms. De La Cruz.
Mr. Rodriguez, the City Commission recently voted to end the 5-minute public forum on the taxpayer-funded city channel. Do you personally feel that this action is good for open government, and what would you do to preserve citizen access to the local government?
Thank you. The foundation of my platform has been open government and transparency. I believe in restoring the citizen comment section back to the City Commission meeting, and not only restore it, but move it to the beginning so that we can begin each meeting with a fresh dose of what our constituents think about the job we are doing for you.
Well, of course, that began years ago, and I'm familiar with it. In those days where things were different, we did answer back and forth, and we did not have any closure to the activity except time. But there are better ways to regulate it than to take it off of television. In many ways, they can regulate the number of appearances that a person can make, but we do need open government. We must have it.
Well, I'm one of those that have been using the public comment since 1993. And I've been using it for Amber Alerts to address the feds. My last Amber Alert is the first time I've ever been failed. Jessica Lunsford, she died. She was murdered. Every inch of every minute counts for children. And those of us who are undercover, who are operatives, we need public input. Even if it's prayers, we need the public, and I will fight for it.
Thank you, Mr. Narro. Mr. Godinez.
The last 4 years, we've increased public input and comments in our city government. We've done that by increasing the size of our advisory boards and making every commissioner and the mayor able to appoint 2, usually from their own district. We've also been able to do that by myself having town meetings the last 2 terms that I've had. In terms of the public comment, I did not participate in that particular vote. However, I've been a strong opponent that we as elected officials need to make sure that whatever criticism is there, that we hear it, that we respond to it appropriately, and that we take appropriate action.
Thank you, Mr. Cortez.
As Mayor McAllen, I have the responsibility to give every citizen an opportunity to protest to its government at any time that they want to. But at the same time, I have a responsibility to protect the best interests of the city, and I cannot allow the city to be jeopardized with legal liability because of comments that are made inappropriately in live TV. My proposition to the City Commission would be very simply to go ahead and continue with the comment section, but wait to televise it in tape delay when we know that no inappropriate comments were made during the live session.
The public forum was first introduced by the then new mayor, Leo Montalvo. The 5-minute public comment session was sometimes used to bring important issues to the commission, and Futuro McAllen appreciates the opportunity to address the commission. But it's not without its flaws. First, you are not able to respond by policy, and this sometimes create the impression that real issues brought up by well-meaning citizens have no response, even with your new disclaimer that runs at the bottom of the screen. Further, it can become an on-air free-for-all, providing entertainment to be sure, but now even being used by some wanting to be on the air with non-city issues. We understand that there are discussions about the public comment session and understand concerns given the obvious liability issues that the city must shoulder for placing on the air that which would nowhere else be allowed. There is a place for public comments addressed formally to you, the Commission, and at the meeting. But we question the wisdom of placing on the air statements that would normally be considered libelous and not be allowed anywhere else. Solution. We want to limit the liability. We want to make it for city issues only. We want, perhaps, for you to be able to answer the questions and discuss your plans and your work for the city. Now, to help with this solution, we propose keeping the public comment session in place for the time being and trying a new pilot program to be aired on Channel 12 called Ask the City. Now, in this, real people with real issues would submit these issues to the city, and these could be answered by a commissioner, the mayor, the city manager, etc. We would, of course, hope that you include all questions that are legal to ask, not personal attacks or personnel issues or attacks on non-public individuals. It would be similar to the rules governing letters to the editor column. People wonder and need to have a way to ask, what took so long on the convention center? And they wonder, what's being done about the traffic? And they wonder, well, where is the major roads going to be? When are they going to be built? Now, you are aware of all these things, and it is in public record, most of us. But simple questions and detailed answers would, we believe, go a long way to reduce that challenge.
Can you say, bitch?
McAllen. They say, well, why didn't you tell us? And they don't understand.
Hello there, Americans. McAllen. My name is Armin Narro, and I'm running for mayor, and I just want to say, Carlos, if you decide to run in 4 years, hey, I'll back you. Regardless who wins this election, 4 years from now, if Carlos runs, he's going to win. We want to keep under pressure in the Fed. We're still at war. But we also have another issue, border security. It seems that we are being threatened by the drug culture and the drug epidemic. I hope that we all will be a unified front in this war, regardless of the politics. The drug cultures are a vicious gang, but we have the courage, we have the warriors, and we must back the warriors. And the warriors have the courage. McAllen, I have a strong faith in God, and God will never bend me to these drug disease carriers called epidemics. Remember that we defeated Osama bin Laden's network. We defeated Saddam Hussein. We will stand up against this drug empire that's threatening us. If I lose this election, it will be a minor defeat for the war against this drug gang. Stay courageous. This will be my retirement campaign. I will not be running anymore, so I can focus on these issues behind the scenes. In conclusion, I just want to say, whoever, if I lose and someone else becomes a mayor, remember, this is your war, and you will be a target of this drug gang, this drug cartel. And be discreet, be courageous, and I have a lot of Espiritu Santo. I mean, I was a prisoner during the war, the first Gulf War. It was my job. There's nothing the drug empire can do against my courage. my Espírito Santo curandero. But if you win, be careful and remember, they are a very vicious gang, and they will not hesitate to cut off the hands of their enemies. They have. So be very careful. It's a very dangerous time. So in conclusion, thank you, Carlos, for all the service. And I hope we succeed so that in 4 years you won't have this problem if you run. Thank you.
Kevin, Mike.
I want to thank Mayor Salinas of Mission is with us today. Mayor, thank you for joining us. Proud you're here. Mayor Cortez of McAllen is with us. Mayor, good to see you. Thank you very much. Yeah. That's a good sign, Mayor. It's a good sign. Finally, one of my dear friends, I've known him for a long time, and it's Mayor John David France of Hidalgo. Mayor, it's good to see you. John David told me just as I got off the airplane, I said, how's your family? He said, my son has just enrolled in West Point. And you tell him thank you, John David, on behalf of a grateful nation. And for those of you who've got a loved one in the United States military, you tell them the Commander-in-Chief is incredibly proud of the job they're doing to help secure this nation and bring peace to this world. We've got a fantastic military. And it's a military that will have the full support